Last night, I went to see Trace Adkins.
Yeah.
You know, the country guy. Honky tonk, badonka-donk. One of the geniuses of our time.
Yeah, sure.
Genius. I mean, he did a song called Hot Mama, okay?
Yeah.
First of all, Trace Adkins looks like I'd want to look. You know, Trace Adkins is my size. He's my height, but he is in perfect shape, you know, big arms. No,
giant, really.
Yeah, but also not fat at all, you know, and a ponytail and a cowboy hat, and then a really deep voice.
Right.
And when he does his show, it's a certain kind of cowboy female porn, you know. They just sit there and love him. And for good and sufficient reason. And he does a song called Hot Mama. Have you heard this song?
No.
See, I thought that, you know, Stockholm made a big mistake not giving Sir Mix-a-Lot the Nobel Prize for I like big butts. I mean, can you think of a better way to get laid than to say I like big butts and do that song? Well, Trace Adkins, I think, maybe even one-upped him.
Sure.
And did a song called
Honky-tonk.
Hot Mama that says, essentially, the point of the song is you're trying to fit in those jeans that you wore when you were 17. I don't want you that way. You've had 2 kids. You're a hot mama. Do you wanna? Now, can you imagine anything that could get you laid more on the road than that? So this is all coming around to a rather serious subject that I'm going to just touch upon and then run away from it.
Okay.
So I go to see Trace, and we're back, and he's got a bus, you know, that he tours in, and it's his own bus. You know, it's all decked out like cowboy theme. He said to me, you know, if John Wayne had a bus, it would look like this. And he's from Shreveport, Louisiana, so he sounds like friends of mine.
Okay,
you know?
sure.
And we're back there in his bus. He's got 5 TVs going back there that are on in the background when we're talking. So, you know, it's Fox and CNN.
Yeah, sure. All the news is.
And they're mostly talking about the tragedy in Connecticut.
Sure.
And Trace says to me, we should be able to just cancel the show. Said last night in Laughlin, is where he was playing last night before last. He said all this stuff was on the news. And I just thought they should make an announcement saying there's been this horrible tragedy in the U.S. and Trace won't be going on tonight. So just cancel the show. I don't need to make money. I don't need to go out there and play with my band. I don't need to, you know, do sexy honky-tonk, badonka-donk, and, you know, thrust my hips out.
Felt a little inappropriate to him.
Yeah. Seemed really inappropriate. And he said, I should even go out there. And he said, even tonight, it's the same thing. And he said, if you don't say anything, you're insensitive. And if you do say something, you're, in some sense, cashing in. I mean, what does Trace Adkins get to say about this tragedy? He has political opinions on gun control and so on, but about this tragedy, those aren't appropriate. And he said, so they just cancel the show. And as he said that to me, you know, Penn and Teller don't have a show, and we
You're on vacation right now.
Yeah, we're on vacation. We end our show with the bullet catch.
Yeah.
So we would have to not do the bullet catch, you know.
Sure.
And it would be really difficult for us. But Trace actually had a show. And I said to him, as I heard him talking, you know, if I were saying it, it would make sense. But him saying it, it sounded crazy, you know, because what he should most be doing is out there pumping his hips and celebrating life and getting people back into it, you know. And that's his job. His job is not to mourn. His job is to celebrate life. I mean, Honky Donk Badonka Donk is not a serious, intellectual, heartfelt song.
Sure,
it's supposed to be this celebration. So he had me stand on stage for the show. He wanted me over to the side. He didn't want me in the audience, which meant it sounded shitty. But, I mean, the band was great and tight, and he sounded great, but I didn't have a good mix. You know? And, you know, Tom Petty said about country music that it's a bad 80s band with a fiddle. So that's all I could think that the whole thing was. It is, you know, maybe not bad, but it's an 80s band with a fiddle and pedal steel, you know. And I was in this position of seeing the same view that Trace had pretty much, you know.
Right.
And all of the people in the audience, there's probably about 2,000 cowboys. And all all of them in for the rodeo.
Yeah, the rodeo's here.
And
National
all
finals.
of them obviously saddened and crushed by the shooting in Connecticut. Mm-hmm. And you could feel it in the room as Trace came out. And then, like 10 minutes into the show, you couldn't feel it.
Sure.
10 minutes into the show, you couldn't feel it. And by the end of the show, he's singing honky tonk, badonka donk, and women are rushing to the stage, and guys are trying to, security guys are trying to push them back, and they're trying to get Trace to touch him. He's there with his cowboy boots, and he's doing this kind of hip thing, honky tonk, badonka donk.
Oh, sure.
And it is entirely inappropriate for the tragedy that's happened in the U.S., and that is the best thing about it.
It's Dr. Trace.
Exactly.
It's Dr. Trace trying to help you get over it.
Yeah, and afterwards, when he came off stage, I was the first person he saw coming off stage, and I said, it was really good you did the show. It was really good, really appropriate. Now, I have talked a lot about freedom and about gun control and about safety, and some of my quotations from 10, 12, 13 years ago were used by both sides of this debate with my name attached to them, set out.
As if you were making these today.
Which was incredibly inappropriate. It's not stuff that my belief is necessarily changed on. It's just when a tragedy like this happens, who gives a fuck what Penn Jillette has to say? I mean, who cares at all about that? It's just inappropriate. So I had to send out a tweet saying essentially I wasn't tweeting. So people asked me if I was going to do talk about the tragedy in Connecticut.
People were interested.
A lot of people asked. And the answer is no.